Chapter 3657. Han Yueyao. Su Yu's tone was especially gentle this time. But the gentler he was, the more frightened Han Yueyao was. President Su, leave my body intact. Seeing Han Yueyao's reaction, Su Yu was both angry and amused. Little Bean hid behind Han Yueyao. She had thought the woman would immediately tell Su Yu that she bumped into her. But Han Yueyao didn't mention that she was bumped into by a kid. Yeah, I admit defeat. I've grown up and I admit defeat to you. I'll go change my clothes. Although Su Yu was angry, he didn't waste time. She found a lounge and went in. Then she took a new shirt from Chin Chu and changed. After Su Yu left, Han Yueyao turned around. She looked at Little Bean, who was hiding by the table. Come out. Have you seen enough? Why didn't you say I bumped into you? Whether you bumped into me or not, I spilled the wine. So I apologized. Han Yueyao was optimistic. You're reasonable. Little Bean chuckled. So, don't you want to apologize to me? Han Yueyao squatted down and looked at Little Bean with interest. Oh, I did it on purpose. On purpose? Why? Han Yueyao was surprised. It's a prank, a kid's prank. Do you understand? I don't understand. Do you want me to do it again? No. Don't do it again. I understand. If you do it again, I'll be fine. But see, you will skin me alive. Aren't you his girlfriend? Why would he skin you alive? Little Bean didn't believe her. Even if you're his girlfriend, you can't do whatever you want. Don't you know that you won't die if you don't ask for it? Ha. So you're afraid of handsome Su? Yeah, I'm scared of him. I'm so scared of him. Little Bean laughed smugly. So I forgive you this time. If you dare to be naughty again, I'll tell your mommy. Do you know who my mommy is? There were so many kids on the cruise ship. How could this woman know which family she was from? Please, there's only one pair of twins here. All right, everyone on Earth knows that you're Dr. Hua and President Qin's daughter. Little Bean didn't expect this woman to be so smart. All right, you win. My name is Pudding. If you want to complain, go ahead. I'm not afraid. Little Bean wanted her sister to be the scapegoat. However, Han Yueyao wasn't so easily fooled. You're trying to trick me again. Look at how naughty and lively you are. You must be Little Bean. No. I'm your sister. I'm Pudding. Han Yueyao stood up unhurriedly and yelled at the little girl who looked exactly the same as her. Pudding. Pudding heard someone calling her that day and turned around abruptly. Little Bean covered her face in embarrassment, turned around and ran away. She wanted to tease Handsome Su's new girlfriend, but she didn't expect Handsome Su to see through her. Hearing Han Yueyao's call, Pudding walked over slowly. Auntie, did you call me? Yeah, I just wanted to know who's Pudding and who's Little Bean. Su Yu often talks about you. Han Yueyao tried to smooth things over. Oh, I see. Do you want to eat something? I'll get it for you. Han Yueyao smiled. No, I'm not hungry. Thank you, Auntie. Pudding greeted her politely and turned to leave. Sure enough, the two sisters had completely different personalities. Compared to Little Bean, Pudding was much quieter and had a touch of sadness in her eyes. After Wei Ying came in, she chatted with her friends in the circle. She didn't notice Shin Mingxi at first and didn't see him until someone reminded her. Young Master Shin is here. Chapter 3658. Hearing that Shin Mingxi was here, Wei Ying subconsciously looked at the door. He was wearing a beige casual outfit and walked in alone. That's right, he walked in alone. Wei Ying was relieved that Hui Yanyan wasn't there. At this moment, someone in the industry said, Young Master Shin looks more and more haggard recently. I wonder if that vixen Hui Yanyan sucked all his essence dry. With that, the women laughed lewdly. Wei Ying was very uncomfortable to hear this. If it was before, everyone could tease him as much as they wanted. But recently, Shin Mingxi was indeed at his lowest point. The relationship between Shin Mingxi and Hui Yanyan kept going back and forth and caused a lot of commotion. The Wei family had already refused to work with the Shin family. As for the Tang family, because the older generation was more traditional, they were unwilling to work with this guy with a tarnished reputation. Tang Chuan didn't care about the family business, so naturally he couldn't help. Su Yu was the only one who didn't plan to work with Shin Mingxi, but Shin Mingxi didn't invest in film and television. Therefore, he didn't have many opportunities to work with Su Yu. For some reason, the Yi family deliberately suppressed him. There were rumors outside. After Shin Mingshi's father had a heart transplant, he went to the United States to recuperate. His mother had also gone, and now he was holding the fort alone. However, he didn't know how long he could hold on. After Hui Yanyan returned, she seemed to have calmed down a lot on the surface. However, she still did a lot of bad things behind his back. She no longer cared about her reputation, so she took advantage of her shamelessness. She even seduced those old men. In the end, Shin Mingshi was implicated by her infamous reputation. Of course, she didn't have the ability to make those business moguls work together to suppress Shin Mingshi. She only used her identity as Shin Mingshi's girlfriend to ruin his reputation. Then she let the media distort the report and caused the Shin family's business to decline. Of course, there must be someone supporting Hui Yanyan behind the scenes. Otherwise, where would she get the money to eat and use, including the money to deliberately smear the Shin family's reputation? Shin Mingshi had become more and more low-key. If it were anyone else, they would have already found someone to break Hui Yanyan's legs. However, Shin Mingshi had always cared about the fact that she was Tiantian's only family in this world. She was Tiantian's mother. Therefore, he didn't do anything to her. However, Hui Yanyan, this woman, not only didn't feel grateful, she became even worse. Young Master Shin is so funny, this cuckold. Huh. That's right. If it were any other man, they wouldn't have been able to take it. Hui Yanyan is such a troublemaker, yet he can still tolerate it. No wonder everyone calls him the Ninja Turtle. Huh. Hearing the mockery, Wei Ying finally couldn't take it anymore. Stop talking. Xiaoying, don't tell me you still have feelings for him. It's not that we want to nag at you, but he's just like a stray dog now. How can he be worthy of you? The Shin family's stock market is shrinking. I'm afraid their total assets are less than 1% of your family's. You shouldn't have anything to do with such a person. That's right, Xiaoying. The media reports are really bad. Everyone is avoiding him like he's the plague. Don't get yourself into trouble at this time. You'll bring shame to the Wei family. These little sisters were all talking at once. But Wei Ying didn't listen to him. She stood up and walked toward the door. Shin Mingshi walked in and saw Wei Ying. But he didn't seem to want to greet her. He turned around and was about to leave when Wei Ying called out to him. Big brother Mingshi. Xiaoying, you're here too. Shin Mingshi had to stop and greet her reluctantly. You saw me and still wanted to leave. I don't understand why you're avoiding me. Wei Ying stared at Shin Mingshi's face with displeasure. Chapter 3659. Oh, I didn't. I saw you chatting with your friends and didn't want to disturb you. I don't believe you. Is that true? Wei Ying looked at Shin Mingshi sadly. After Su Xiaoxiao reminded her at the KTV, she went downstairs to see him. They hadn't seen each other until now. During this time, Wei Ying tried to send Shin Mingshi WeChat messages, but he didn't reply. But he liked Wei Ying's posts on WeChat moments. Wei Ying was confused. What was going on with him? He wasn't heartless. Every time they saw each other, they still felt like a couple. But now when they met, she felt strange. I've been in a lot of bad news lately, I know. The company isn't doing well. My dad went to the US for treatment, so I'm really tired. I know. So I don't look like I'm in a good state. You should stay away from me in case I bring bad news to you. What do you mean? I'm thinking about you. I don't need you to think about me. You didn't think about me before, and I don't need your fake kindness now. Wei Ying was angry at Shin Mingshi's behavior. He proposed to her and sent her flowers on Valentine's Day. Then he showed all kinds of concern and waited for her downstairs. Now he was telling her to stay away from him so she wouldn't be implicated. What did he mean by that? Then think of it as fake kindness. Shin Mingshi tilted his head and licked his dry lips. He had been under a lot of pressure recently, so he thought a lot. Maybe he really couldn't give Wei Ying happiness anymore. Shin Mingshi, are you a kid? You were the one who wanted to marry me, and you were the one who wanted to divorce me. Later, you were the one who proposed to make peace with me, and now you're the one who wants me to stay away from you. What do you want? Don't you think your actions are contradictory? Wei Ying questioned him harshly. Then think of me as a psycho. Maybe I'm just a lunatic like Hui Yanyan. Then Shin Mingshi stood up and left. Wei Ying stayed where she was, feeling empty in her heart. Why are you standing at the door? It's cold. Yi Xiaoyang came over at some point. He took off his suit jacket and put it on Wei Ying. I don't need it. Wei Ying took it off and threw it into his hand. Then she turned around and walked away, not giving the Yi family kid any face. Not far away, Huamin and Qin Chu were standing at the entrance of the lounge upstairs, hand in hand watching the crowd coming and going downstairs. Hubby, didn't you say that this is just a gathering of close friends? Why are there so many people here? Did you send out the invitations? Huamin was a little surprised. Even the Yi family could come in. How was this a birthday celebration? This was a business gathering, right? These are the invitations sent out by the Tang family. Because Tang Chuan is the organizer, many members of the Tang family came. But the Tang family also brought many friends. I can't stop them at the door, can I? I knew it wasn't you. Huamin smiled. Mian, are you hiding something from me? No, why do you suddenly ask? Huamin pretended to be calm. I just feel that you haven't been yourself since you came back from work this afternoon. Qin Chu reached out and smoothed her long hair. Oh, maybe I'm too tired from work? Huamin didn't tell Qin Chu her secret. Even now, she still didn't want to talk about Hua Xiqian. Because it was a part of her nightmare. At this moment, a commotion came from the entrance. Someone yelled, "Look! That woman Hui Yanyan is here. How dare she come here?" I'm sorry, but I've never cared about you. I didn't think you could cause any trouble in the past few years. Don't you know how capable you are? Although they were in public, Huamin's words were sharp and didn't give Hui Yanyan any face. I'm here to celebrate your birthday. Why did your bodyguards bar me from entering? I don't remember sending you an invitation, right? Huamin didn't answer her question. Instead, he asked about the invitation. Of course not. It's written in black and white. My invitation isn't fake. Hui Yanyan held the invitation smugly in her hand. She wanted to tell Huamin that she had the ability to get the invitation. Oh, I forgot. You and young Master Yi are allies now. Getting the invitation is a piece of cake for you. Huamin nodded calmly. What nonsense are you talking about? Hui Yanyan's expression changed. At this moment, Yi Xiaoyang standing beside Wei Ying also looked terrified. You know Hui Yanyan? Wei Ying reacted and questioned him angrily. Chapter 3661. No. I don't know him. Then why did you say that, Sister Mian? Maybe. Dr. Hu wasn't talking about me. After all, there are many people with the surname Yi. Yi Xiaoyang looked guilty. You know best whether I'm talking nonsense or not. Don't think that you can rest easy just because he got you out of the mental hospital. Hui Yanyan, do you really want to kill yourself before you stop? What? Do you want to kill me? Come on. Do it. No. Killing you will only dirty my hands. You better go back. I have the right to refuse you entry to my birthday party, regardless of whether you have an invitation or not. Huamin, are you going to turn against me? Didn't we do it before? Huamin sneered. Fine. Since you don't welcome me, then, as your sister, I have to prepare a gift for you. Then Hui Yanyan took out a stack of photos from her bag and waved them in the air. The photos scattered on the floor. They were photos of Xinjiani and Huasi. But they weren't photos of Xinjiani and Huasi. Their faces were either covered in blood or their eyes were wide open. It's like a horror movie. Some of the onlookers stepped back in fright and cursed Hui Yanyan for being a psycho. Of course, these photos were photoshopped. Her purpose was simple. She wanted to disgust Huamin. Suyu couldn't help but clench his fists. Damn it. This woman is crazy. How dare she show such horrifying photos to a pregnant woman? She's up to no good. I'm going to smash her pig head. President Su calmed down. Let's wait and see. Han Yueyao stopped him. She grabbed Su Yu's hand and asked him to look down. Qin Chu cared about Huamin the most. No one loved Huamin more than he did. But at this moment he didn't do anything. He just stood behind Huamin and watched quietly. What did this mean? Did he not care about Huamin? Of course not. Could only mean that he knew what Huamin was capable of. It was true that Hui Yanyan could not play any tricks today. Her abilities were limited. It was impossible to bring in any dangerous items on the cruise ship. The bodyguards would probably discover it before she could even begin to set it up. Therefore, she only wanted to annoy Huamin. It was said that pregnant women were afraid of stimulation, so she found someone to Photoshop many scary photos of her mother and brother, hoping to stimulate Huamin. Even if he gave her a scare, he would still feel better. He just didn't expect that. Huamin lowered his head, picked up the photos scattered on the ground and glanced at them. She raised her head and asked Hui Yanyan, "Do you think I'll be scared when you show me these photos?" Hui Yanyan didn't say anything. She couldn't figure out what Huimin was thinking. Hui Yanyan, you're really an idiot. Normal people would be scared when they see these photos, even men. But have you forgotten that I'm a doctor? I've been the first to rescue the injured at the scene of a car accident. Their wounds were so severe that normal people couldn't even look at them directly. I deal with the dead almost every day. Some were hanged, some were knocked to death, some committed suicide by cutting their wrists, and some were stabbed dozens of times with their intestines torn out. There was also one that was the most miserable I've ever seen. A woman who cheated on him had her hands and legs chopped off by her perverted husband. Her neck was almost severed as well. When she was sent to the hospital, her head was only connected to her body by a single tendon. But miraculously, she wasn't completely dead. She was like an incomplete monster. Stop talking, stop talking. Hui Yanyan widened her eyes and covered her ears as she screamed, stop talking, stop talking. Upon hearing Huimin's explanation, Hui Yanyan was the first to break down. Suyu almost vomited when he heard what Huimian said. Her ultimate move was truly ruthless. So Hui Yanyan, you're using these photos to scare a doctor. Are you brainless? Huimin smiled slightly. Chapter 3662. Psycho. Huimin, you're a real psycho. You're the same as Hui Xiqian. You're too scary. Hui Yanyan cursed and ran away in exasperation. The bodyguards wanted to chase after her but were stopped by Huimin. Forget it. Let her be. She spends all her energy trying to find trouble with me. If she doesn't do this, she'll feel empty. After all, it's her only mental support. This small episode didn't have much of an impact. As the VIPs entered the ballroom one after another, Huimin turned around and went upstairs. Mian, is what you said true? Suyu was curious. What I told Hui Yanyan. Heads, arms, legs. Being a doctor is so scary. Suyu was still frightened by Huimin's description. Oh, those. I made it up. Suyu, I said it to scare Hui Yanyan. You're really talented. Suyu was surprised that Huimin could lie. In fact, being a doctor wasn't that scary. Huimin wasn't a doctor in the emergency room and naturally wouldn't come into contact with patients who were sent to the emergency room. So what he said just now was really just to scare Hui Yanyan. He didn't expect that not only did he scare her, but he also shocked everyone. Tang Chuan opened a bottle of champagne inside. Let's go in and celebrate. Of course, you can only drink plain water. Suyu smiled. No problem. Then Huimin, Qin Chu and Suyu walked toward Tang Chuan's private room. Han Yueyao stopped in her tracks. You guys go ahead. I want to walk around outside for a while. Let's go together. We're not strangers, Huimin invited. I'm used to messing around, so I'm afraid of it. But the cruise ship is so big and there are so many fun things to do. I want to look around. Huimin glanced at Suyu, waiting for his reaction. Do whatever you want, Suyu said casually. Then he went in with Huimin, Qin Chu and the others. Han Yueyao glared at him and turned to leave. She knew her position and didn't want to be like Suyu's girlfriend. Therefore, she tried her best not to attend such occasions, which was completely different from Zheng Rou's style. Since she didn't know anyone, she decided to wander around the hall, take photos, post them on WeChat moments and eat. Unexpectedly, after Suyu left, Zheng Rou came looking for trouble. Whoa. You're not always with Lord Su. After all, you're his new favorite. I was wondering who it was. Sure enough, you're still following me. I told you the new one will replace the old one. Just give up. Han Yueyao didn't back down. I lived in Suyu's house for a long time. Zheng Rou deliberately misled Han Yueyao. Didn't he not touch you at all? What's there to be proud of? He told you everything. Zheng Rou's expression changed, surprised that Suyu told Han Yueyao everything. Needless to say, I can guess. Only a woman like you whom he never touched would be full of resentment. You? Zheng Rou was speechless in fury. Han Yueyao continued to take selfies leisurely, looking for good angles. Little girl, you don't have to be proud. Suyu changes women faster than he changes clothes. Before long you'll be his ex and end up like me. No, I won't be the same as you. I won't be full of resentment. Even if it's me in the future, we'll part on good terms. Big sister Zing, please don't follow me and see you like a ghost. You're more active than the paparazzi. If you have time to care about yourself, hurry up and find a boyfriend and have sex with him. Look at the pimples on your face. It's obvious that your hormones are out of whack. Chapter 3663. You dare to say anything because Suyu dotes on you. Aren't you afraid that you'll be miserable if Suyu abandons you? That's my business. I'm a beggar on the street. It's none of your business. Han Yueyao thought Xingro worried too much. You've been with Suyu for a long time and know everything about him. So what? You must know who Suyu loves the most. Xingro smiled wickedly. I know. So what? It's not you. Han Yueyao crossed her arms before her chest, not afraid of Xingro at all. She knew who Xingro was, but Han Yueyao thought. Even if you're the daughter of a governor and I didn't break the law, you can't do anything to me, right? Besides, Xingro came here for a purpose. Of course she thought Xingro came to win back Suyu. You're so eloquent. Let's see if you dare to be so arrogant in the future. Every dog has its day. Xingro sneered. Sister Xing, I'm the one who said that. Besides, you're so pathetic. Let me give you a piece of advice. Stop pestering him. No matter what kind of woman he is, you'll wear out a man's patience if you keep pestering him. So you might treat you as a friend. If you keep doing this, I'm afraid he'll lose all hope in you. Save your words for yourself. Don't jump off a building in Imperial Star after Suyu abandons you, Xingro cursed viciously. Don't worry. Only idiots would jump off a building. I'm smart enough to extort a large amount of money from President Su after we break up. Then I'll use the money to date a young man. Oh yeah. Xingro had a glib tongue, but she had to admit defeat in front of Han Yueyao. Why? Because Han Yueyao wasn't angry at all. She could deal with whatever she said. More importantly, she wasn't affected by anyone's words. As for her relationship with Suyu, everyone could think whatever they wanted as long as she knew what was going on. This was her principle. Xingro, on the other hand, didn't seem to see this clearly. So she fell deeply in love with Suyu and felt somewhat painful. You'll regret this. Xingro was speechless when she saw that no matter how much she said, this woman was stubborn. He couldn't be bothered to speak any more nonsense, so he turned around and left. Xingro walked back and forth in the hall. Qin Chu stood on the top floor and kept looking at her. He believed in his intuition that Xingro's purpose for coming here today was not simple. He seemed to be looking for something. Of course, Qin Chu didn't know that Xingro had planted a high-end eavesdropping device on Huamin. Because it was used by the upper echelons of the military, it was very confidential and very high-end. Even Qin Chu's anti-eavesdropping system could not detect it. That was why Xingro could walk back and forth on the cruise ship without fear. Qin Chu didn't mention this to Huamin. He just asked his men to keep an eye on Xingro. They followed her secretly, afraid that this woman would cause trouble. After Xingro left, Han Yueyao thought she could relax for a while and took out her cell phone to play a game. However, Lady Su came over at this moment. Yao Yao. Auntie Su, why are you here? Didn't I tell you not to let Suyu know that we know each other? Han Yueyao looked around in a panic, wondering if Suyu was nearby. It's okay. Everyone knows that you used date today. I came to say hello to you. It won't arouse suspicion. Lady Su was very smart and had thought of this. Han Yueyao smiled. To be honest, she was nervous every time she saw Lady Su because she felt there was something in the latter's eyes that she couldn't see through. How are you two doing? Han Yueyao knew Lady Su was asking about her relationship with Suyu. Chapter 3664. We've been doing well. Obviously, Han Yueyao was being perfunctory. But I heard you were transferred to the acting department. Do you really want to act in a movie? Lady Su had eyes in the company and kept a close eye on Han Yueyao's every move. I offended our captain when I was a trainee and was exiled by President Su. Exiled? If you were really exiled, how did you get a supporting actress role? I heard the male lead is an experienced actor like Jiang Yi. Auntie Su, about this, it was true that Han Yueyao didn't know about it. Huamian had told Jiang Yi about it, and that was how the situation had developed. Han Yueyao was grateful to Huamin from the bottom of her heart. She didn't want to act for fame, she wanted to make money. Jiang Ye's agent told Han Yueyao that this harem drama had 48 episodes. Since Han Yueyao was a newcomer and didn't get paid much, Jiang Yi offered her 10,000 yuan per episode. That meant she would get a total of 480,000 yuan for 48 episodes. These years were nothing to some of the more famous actors. But to Han Yueyao it was a huge sum of money. With this money she could buy a new car for her dad so he wouldn't be mocked for driving a BYD at his age. With this money she could buy new clothes and scarves for her mom so her classmates wouldn't laugh at her mom for being stingy. With this money she could buy herself beautiful dance outfits and dance shoes. She could also go to live performances by international dance masters. With this money Han Yueyao could fulfill many of her dreams. Most importantly, she was the one who earned this money, so she felt at ease. But she also knew that if she did this, she would go against Lady Su's original intention of sending her to Su Yu's company. Lady Su obviously wanted to find a girlfriend for her son. She had emphasized before that her coming to Imperial Star was just a facade. It was just a facade. If she stayed as a trainee, she would never be able to debut. But now, not only was she going to debut, she was going to act in a movie with a movie king like Jiang Yi. How could Lady Su not ask? But the difference was that Lady Su was gentle even when she questioned him. This woman was different from the other rich ladies. She had her own way of doing things. She couldn't tell him that she didn't know it was Huamin who did it. That would mean that Huamin had helped him, but he had betrayed him. She would never allow herself to do such a disgusting thing. Therefore she nodded and admitted openly, "Auntie Su, I have indeed accepted the role." But Lady Su quietly looked at the girl's delicate face. "I need money. How much do you need? You can tell me." Lady Su looked at her. "I don't want to tell you that I'm not a beggar. I don't want to ask you for money. It's not right and it's not my money. I want to earn it with my own efforts. But if I go to work, I won't be able to earn that much in a year. That's why I took this shortcut." "I'm sorry, Auntie Su, I lied to you." "So, you plan to use me and Mion from the beginning to pave your career in film and television?" "Yes, I had this idea from the beginning." Han Yueyao admitted it all. "Very good. I didn't know that you were so scheming." Lady Su's tone was calm. "Auntie Su, I'm sorry. If you think I've hurt you or lied to you, I'm willing to accept any punishment from you. Even if you kick me out, I won't complain." "Yao, if you had to choose between acting and you, which would you choose?" Lady Su asked seriously. Han Yueyao suddenly remembered a report she had read a long time ago. It said that the Su family didn't allow Su Yu's women to be in the entertainment industry. Chapter 3665. Auntie Su, Han Yueyao was about to speak when Su Yu walked over and interrupted them. "Mom, don't make things difficult for my girlfriend." "I didn't. I just came to see her and say hello." "Really? Then why did I see Yao's smile look uglier than her crying face? Did you say something to her?" "I didn't. Don't accuse me." Like a child, Lady Su explained to her son. "Huh. Then go upstairs. Auntie Qin and Auntie Wei are waiting for you. Go play mahjong or fight the landlord. It's still early for the show." "Hey. I haven't finished yet. Don't push me." Just like that, Su Yu pushed his mother upstairs before she could finish her sentence. Then Su Yu came down to Han Yueyao. "Stay away from my mother in the future." "What?" Han Yueyao was puzzled. "Because my mom is bewitched. She sees everyone as her daughter-in-law." "Ha. How can you say that about your mom? Are you crazy?" Han Yueyao laughed. "My mom is crazy. Anyway, next time be smart and run away when you see her. I didn't see a ghost. You can pretend you saw a ghost. I'll tell your mom that you slandered her. Go. She's upstairs. But I'm sure you won't be able to come down in less than 2 hours. She'll nag at you." "I believe you." Han Yueyao gave up. She didn't dare to go to Lady Su. He was just bragging. "Then go to a corner and have some food and drinks. Then you can play." "What about you?" Han Yueyao asked Zi. "I'll go talk to some friends." Before she left, Su Yu told her worriedly, "Stay away from my mom and Xing Ro." Yes, they were the only two people who could cause trouble for Su Yu's girlfriend. After Su Yu left, Han Yueyao found a corner and sat down to play the game. When Pudding passed by, she sat down beside her. "How much have you played, Auntie?" About 2 months." Han Yueyao thought for a moment. "You've already reached 700 levels in 2 months. Did you spend money to buy items?" "How could that be? My pockets are cleaner than my face. How could I have the money to buy these messy things? It's all based on the feel of my hand." "Then you're really good." "I'm playing this too." "Really? Little Bean, how many levels have you played?" Han Yueyao tilted her head and looked at Little Bean. "Level 1500. I've been playing for less than 3 months." I didn't buy any items because I don't need them." Also, Auntie, let me correct you. I'm not Little Bean, I'm Pudding. At this moment, there were only a few voices in her mind. First, this kid had only been playing for 2 months, but she had reached level 1500, twice as many as she had. She had thought she was very good at reaching level 700 because Su Xiaoxiao had only reached level 300 and spent money to buy all kinds of items. Second, this kid didn't use any items and played by herself. He was a genius. Third, she was the legendary Pudding. It seemed she had been too focused on playing the game to notice the changes in their personalities. So you're the legendary Big Pudding. I've heard so much about you. After a long while, Han Yueyao said, making Pudding laugh. Chapter 3666. Auntie, are you always this funny? Funny? I think I'm very gentle. Han Yueyao commented on herself seriously. Fine. I'll take it that you're gentle. Why don't you play with your sisters? We're like Siamese twins. What's there to play with? If you look at your own face in the mirror all day long, won't you get tired? You have a point. Compared to Little Bean, Han Yueyao found Pudding more interesting. Pudding was only good at making jokes, acting coquettishly, acting cute, and it was said that she could flatter people. Of course, Han Yueyao had to learn her skills slowly. It was said that Pudding was calm and quick-witted. She combined the strengths of her parents and was a perfect child. Her only shortcoming was that she was too mature and smart. She didn't have the intelligence of her age, so she lost the innocence of her age. But this was also a shortcoming. She wasn't an ordinary child, she was a child prodigy. Auntie, are you from Jing City? Yeah. Then why don't you have a Beijing accent? Because I learned Mandarin. If I was a dance teacher and spoke Beijing dialect, I wouldn't be able to dance. Are you working at Imperial Star now? Pudding continued to ask. Yeah. I'm a handyman. No. You're not an ordinary handyman. You're the boss's woman, Pudding corrected her. Yeah. It's temporary. Maybe I'll be replaced one day. Han Yueyao chatted with Pudding while playing the game. Oh. He won't be replaced unless you have a purpose for getting close to him. Han Yueyao's hand paused slightly with the cell phone in her hand. Pudding's words weren't simple. She meant that if Pudding approached Su Yu with a purpose, it would be troublesome. It's good to have a purpose. If you want money, you can give him money. If you want power, you can promote him. If you want fame, you can support him. These are difficult for ordinary people, but for people like Su Yu, it's a piece of cake. Well, then what do you want? Pudding asked with a smile. She asked casually as if she was joking. She didn't feel awkward at all. Han Yueyao froze and then said with a smile, I'll draw them all. Good luck then. With that, Pudding got up and ran away. She didn't know what the child thought of her. However, she firmly believed that she was harmless to Su Yu. She had no intention of harming him and only wanted to earn some money. Would he really be hated by everyone? After warning Han Yueyao, Su Yu wanted to drink and chat with Wei Liao. But at the door of the private room, Shen Mingxi stopped her and told her to go to the deck. Because it was a shallow sea, the wind on the deck was not very strong, so it was a little cool. Why do you look so dispirited lately? Are you possessed by a ghost? Su Yu teased with a glass of pale yellow champagne in his hand. Lord Su, I want to borrow some money from you. How much do you need? Su Yu asked without hesitation. How much do you have now? Shen Mingxi asked in a low voice. I have as much as you need. Su Yu was very generous. Hearing Su Yu's words, Shen Mingxi's eyes flashed visibly. This man looked cheerful and carefree, but he was the most reliable at critical moments. My company is short of funds and needs cash flow. The situation is very bad, but if I say that I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back, will you still lend me the money? Shen Mingxi took a sip of the red wine in his glass and said gloomily. If it weren't for the fact that he had no other choice, he would have been too embarrassed to ask. Now Shen Mingxi was at the lowest point in his life. So he decided to stay away from Wei Ying. Yes, he had troubled Wei Ying enough and couldn't drag her down anymore. At this thought, he walked into the hall and was surprised to see Wei Ying at the door. But Wei Ying was talking to Yi Xiaoyang. Chapter 3668. Yi Xiaoyang, tell me the truth. Did you hire someone to get Hui Yanyan to come here? Xiaoying, did you hear something? Yi Xiaoyang was a little flustered when he was asked this question. It doesn't matter if I heard something or not. Anyways, was the Yi guy in the conversation between Sister Mian and Hui Yanyan you? I said it wasn't me. How many times do you want me to say it? Do you dare to swear? You've known me for a long time. Don't you know my character? I really don't know your character. Taeyong, do you dare to swear? Do you dare to say that you have nothing to do with Hui Yanyan? If you lie, your whole family will die. Wei Ying was furious. She wasn't stupid at all. Hu Min wasn't someone who would make things up. He wouldn't implicate the Yi family, which had nothing to do with her. Hu Min dared to say that in public. That meant that she had evidence. Thinking about it carefully, no one would help Hui Yanyan so easily. After all, they had to know their purpose. There weren't many famous families in the city with the surname Yi. The older generation had all retired. She hadn't heard of anyone who had anything to do with Hui Yanyan. Yi Xiaoyang, on the other hand, had been seen with a young woman. She didn't know if that woman was Hui Yanyan. But Yi Xiaoyang had the most motive. After Hui Yanyan came out, she would definitely harm Shen Mingxi. Because of Wei Ying, Yi Xiaoyang had disliked Shen Mingxi for a long time and had made trouble for him in business. Even if I'm not your boyfriend, we're still friends. Why are you asking me to swear? I'm asking you if you dare or not. Yi Xiaoyang was still a little guilty. He didn't dare to say that his whole family would die. What? You're guilty? What's there to be guilty about? Instead of suspecting me, why don't you go and save your brother Mingxi? I heard he's going bankrupt. Yi Xiaoyang did not want to swear, so he changed the topic to Shen Mingxi. Shen Mingxi looked up, stunned for a moment. Then he walked over and said, I'm sorry, I might not be able to break it because I just borrowed 5 billion from someone. You eavesdropped on other people's conversation. What kind of person are you? Yi Xiaoyang was embarrassed to be exposed, so he flew into a rage out of humiliation. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I just happened to walk here and saw the two of you talking, so I didn't come over. Wei Ying looked at Shen Mingxi with mixed feelings. She bit her lips but didn't say anything. To be honest, she was also at a loss. She didn't know what to do. Alright, then I'll leave. I won't disturb you two from catching up. Yi Xiaoyang found an excuse and ran away, afraid that Wei Ying would ask him more questions. The little bitch Hui Yanyan had embarrassed him this time and even let Hu Min guess his identity. Yi Xiaoyang thought it was necessary to teach the little bitch a lesson and let her know who her master was. After Yi Xiaoyang left, Wei Ying glanced at Shen Mingxi with a cold face. Why didn't you tell me that the company is in trouble? It's a man's business. What? Are you looking down on women? Wei Ying was furious. No, I just don't want to drag you down. You've helped me a lot. I really don't want to drag you down. Look at you. You're so unkempt and unkempt. It's not like you at all. The Shen family's century-old foundation can't fall. This is Grandpa Shen's wish. Shen Mingxi, you'd better buck up. Don't worry. I won't let the Shen family fall. Shen Mingxi forced a smile. Wei Ying's heart twitched as if someone had pricked it. She opened her handbag and took out a black diamond card. Then she handed it to Shen Mingxi. What is this? He was slightly surprised. Chapter 3669. It's all I have. Shen Mingxi. Including the money I made from my own business, the money my parents gave me, and the stores I sold recently, I have 50 million yuan. It's not a lot, but it can solve the problem. Take it back. No. From the moment I gave it to you, I had no intention of taking it back. If you don't want it, throw it away. The password is still your birthday. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Then Wei Ying forced the black diamond card into Shen Mingxi's hand. Then she left without looking back. She was so cool that she had no friends. Shen Mingxi was dumbfounded. He hadn't expected Wei Ying to do this. But when he came back to his senses, he was quite happy. At least it proved that Wei Ying still had him in her heart. At least this way made his heart ache. There was a popular saying on the internet, women don't know if they're marrying a man or a dog until they have children. For Shen Mingxi, it could be changed to, men don't know if the woman beside them is a wolf or a sheep until they're in dire straits. Hui Yanyan, whom he used to dote on with all his heart, was now trying to kill him. And Wei Ying, who he had hurt all over, was now taking out all her savings. Shen Mingxi felt that he didn't deserve her. The better Wei Ying became, the more he felt that he didn't deserve her. Holding the black card, Shen Mingxi felt complicated. Hu Min, the birthday girl, should be the busiest tonight since she was the main character. However, at this very moment she took a break and ran to a corner. She was eating cream puffs while watching the latest Korean drama on her phone. She didn't look like the main character at all. Sister Myeon. Hearing the voice, Hwamin looked up. Then she smiled gently. Brat, I haven't seen you in a long time. Jess said you went back to Korea to see an old friend. Yeah. I just came back after living there for a while. Good. You're retired and not a big star anymore, but you're still so handsome. Looking at Ni Young, Hwamin gradually doted on him, feeling the same as when she looked at Jishin. Come on, little Jia said that I'm like a lazy uncle now. Have you considered making a comeback? Oh. Haha, you're used to being idle, aren't you? Yes, I hate the days when I'm surrounded by fans even when I go to the toilet. It's really good to return to being an ordinary person. I really like this kind of life. I'm glad you like it. Sister Myeon, I have something to discuss with you. What is it? I want to find someone to deal with Hui Yanyan. If these words had come from Su Yu and the others, Hwamin might not have thought much of it. However, the words that came out of Ni Yang's mouth confused Hwamin. Why are you talking about this out of nowhere? That woman, her heart is twisted and perverted. She probably has someone behind her, so she won't let you go. She always comes out to disgust you. I can't stand it anymore. I don't want you to be bullied by her. She's just a small character. She can't bully me. Then I'll get rid of her for you. Silly boy, don't do stupid things. Murder is against the law. We don't have to break the law for a psychopath. Seeing that Ni Young didn't seem to be joking, Hwamin immediately tried to persuade him. No, I won't kill her. But I have a way to make her disappear forever, Ni Young said calmly. Chapter 3670. You're not going to kidnap her, are you? Lock her up? Imprison her? Don't worry about it. Anyway, I can't let her slander you like this. Brat, what are you thinking? If I want to deal with her, I have 10,000 ways. The reason why I haven't done anything is because she doesn't pose a threat. She seems to have seen through this, so all she can do is talk. She can't do anything to me. If we really want to deal with her, it's not our business. Shin Mingxi should be more anxious than us. But sis, don't worry about me. You'll be fine with Jia. You're such an innocent and bright boy. How can I let you do those dark things? But people like Hui Yanyan deserve it. Ni Young was a warm man who loved Hwamin very much. He wanted to do something for her. That was why he wanted to help Hwamin get rid of Hui Yanyan. But what he didn't know was that Hui Yanyan was a clown and Hwamin was no longer afraid of her. He even felt that she was pitiful. She was alive now, and it seemed that there was only hatred. There was no happiness in every minute and every second. Yeah. As the saying goes, the bitch will be punished by God. So let's not worry about her. Hwamin optimistically interrupted Ni Yang's suggestion. Then they talked about something else. Zheng Ro was drinking coffee in the lounge upstairs. She put on her earphones and heard every word of their conversation. Hwamin is so wise and magnanimous. He can even ignore Hui Yanyan. No wonder she has the status she has today. If Hwamin agreed with Ni Young, it wouldn't be her style. She wasn't a saint. It wasn't that she didn't want to get rid of Hui Yanyan. However, at such a sensitive time, if someone were to catch him red-handed, Ni Yang's future would be ruined. Sacrificing a good person for a rotten person was not a good deal. Hwamin was so smart that he naturally wouldn't agree. At this time, a deep voice came from the earpiece. How are things over there? Reporting to Chief, everything is going well. The installation has been completed and we are monitoring it now. We've received a tip-off that many people are monitoring the cruise ship today. Ian and Nalo are out-and-out lunatics. You have to act according to the situation and be careful. Yes, Chief. After replying, Zheng Ro continued to drink coffee and eavesdrop on Hwamin. Fortunately, Hwamin was doing fine so far. There wasn't any confidential conversation. She actually wanted to hear what Hwamin and Suyu were talking about. Would they talk about Suyu's new female companion or talk about her? Unfortunately, Hwamin and Suyu never talked in private, so she never had the chance to eavesdrop. When the program was about to start, a person's appearance brought the audience to a climax. Wow. Who's that? Yeah. My goodness. Why is she back? We didn't receive any news from the media. So sudden. She's much prettier. I wonder if she got plastic surgery. Even her temperament is better. She's different after studying abroad. Yeah. We didn't receive any news that she would come to Dr. Hua's birthday party. While they talked, they saw a woman on the other side of the spotlight. She was wearing a black velvet gown and had an exquisite face. It was Nie Lingxian, whom they hadn't seen for a long time. Chapter 3671. Huamin didn't expect Nie Lingxian to come. But when he saw the invitation in her hand, he immediately understood. Cici had asked her for it a few days ago. She had joked, "Cici, are you coming back to celebrate my birthday with me?" Cici had smiled mysteriously and said, "You'll know when the time comes." It turned out that Cici had asked for the invitation for her sister. Nie Lingxian and Huamin weren't close. She came to the birthday party for only one purpose. Cici. At this thought, Huamin looked in Su Yu's direction. Sure enough, he was also shocked. As Nie Lingxian's boss, he didn't know that this star had suddenly returned. Nor did he expect her to appear on the cruise ship. "Miss Nie, why did you suddenly come back? Miss Nie, why did you come back this time? Miss Nie, is there a new movie coming out? I heard that you're working with Hollywood. Is it true? Miss Nie, did you suddenly appear here to surprise Dr. Hua? There have been rumors that you and your sister have a good relationship with President Qin and his wife. Is it true?" As soon as Nie Lingxian entered, she was surrounded by some well-known reporters. This was indeed a big story. "I'm sorry. This time I'm attending a friend's birthday party as a private guest, so I won't accept any interviews." "Thank you," she explained elegantly with a calm smile. In a trance, Su Yu felt that she had become a little different from before. There seemed to be something more in her eyes. In the past she was timid and shy. She was even shy and gentle all the time. Now she was calm, graceful, and very good at handling situations. She even had the demeanor of a big star. But this time she came back. Su Yu was thinking when he was interrupted by Tang Chuan. Young Master Su, you're doomed. Zheng Ro, Han Yueyao, and now Nie Lingxian. The three women make a show. I wonder if they'll fight for you. It's going to be so interesting. Su Yu, I suggest that Lord Su try them one by one and see which one has better skills. It was rare for Wei Liao to make a dirty joke. Mr. Wei is right. I suggest you do the same. You two, are you just watching? Su Yu was exasperated. Why are you standing there? She's from your company after all. Don't you want to go and see her? Tang Chuan pushed Su Yu's shoulder. Su Yu was a little at a loss. In fact, he didn't want anything to do with Nie Lingxian. It's not good for a woman to be too stubborn. Tis Lingxian, estes is, est, as from a psychological perspective this was, titis, it was similar to Qin Chu's obsession with Huamin, and Hua Xiqian's obsession with Huamin. Qin Chu's obsession with Nie Lingxian was because they loved each other. There was nothing wrong with that. Hua Xiqian's obsession was unrequited love. Nie Lingxian's was similar to Hua Xiqian. She seemed to have made up her mind about Su Yu to a certain extent. Su Yu felt that if this continued, the situation wouldn't be very good. He had clearly rejected her many times, but Nie Lingxian didn't seem to have any intention of giving up. Su Yu sat there wondering if he should get up and greet her. Nie Lingxian walked all the way to Su Yu under the crowd's gaze. "President Su, long time no see. I miss you very much." Her straightforward words made Su Yu blush and the crowd was in an uproar. Huamin walked over and held Qin Chu's arm, frowning slightly. "Honey, why do I feel like there's something wrong with Nie Lingxian?" Chapter 3672. Yeah, it's weird. Qin Chu nodded slightly. "Even you think so?" Huamin was surprised. He thought it was just his imagination, but now that Mr. Qin had the same feeling, things didn't look good. Yeah. Nie Lingxian wasn't close to Huamin and Huamin was only close to Cici. But Cici had been living abroad with Rick for years and was pregnant. So they could only contact each other through WeChat and phone calls. Huamin thought for a moment and sent Cici a WeChat message. "Cici, yes, Sister Mion. You gave the invitation to your sister?" "Yeah, I'm sorry, Sister Mion. I didn't mean to hide it from you. My sister said she wanted to go back, but she didn't have a good reason. I thought it was your birthday, so she's always liked President Su." "Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I just wanted to confirm it with you." "Confirm what?" Cici didn't seem to understand Huamin's intention. "Confirm that the person who came back is really your sister." It's my sister. She came to me to get the invitation before she left. Did you see her? Yeah, she just arrived. My sister is timid and won't cause trouble. Don't worry, Sister Mion. That's not what I'm worried about. Then is there something else? Cece felt like Huamin's sudden WeChat message wasn't just for a chat. Nothing. You should rest. Huamin didn't say what he was thinking. It wasn't that he didn't trust Cece, but he didn't want to misunderstand. That would be awkward. Yeah, it's Nielingxian. Please. Cece said her sister came back with the invitation. Qin Chu nodded and didn't say more. Suyu didn't know how to react to Nielingshuan's sudden enthusiasm. Yeah, long time no see. Suyu stood up and reached out his hand, thinking Nielingxian wanted to shake hands with him. However, Nielingxian ignored Suyu's outstretched hand. He didn't give him any face at all. After all, no matter how famous she was still just an employee of Suyu, but her actions were. In short, this scene was captured by many media outlets. Suyu looked embarrassed. Zheng Rou sneered on the side. She had heard Huamin's words and confirmed that this person was Nielingxian. Suyu, I didn't expect you to have such a day. Zheng Rou suddenly felt happy. At this moment Han Yueyao appeared out of nowhere. She laughed and held Suyu's arm. Big brother Suyu, this must be the superstar that your company made famous, right? She looks pretty good in person, isn't she? Nielingxian glanced at Han Yueyao's face coldly. President Su, you've changed women again. You're really fast. You're like a stamp collector. Suyu didn't expect her to say such sarcastic words so blatantly. He stared at Nielingxian carefully and felt she had become a stranger to him. Yeah, it's normal for a man like President Su to change women. It's not strange that some media outlets like to gossip. Before President Su was in a relationship, they said he was pitiful. Now that he's in a relationship, they said he changed women faster than he changed clothes. Bitches like to have double standards. Miss Nia, don't you think so? Han Yueyao's words were sharp as she argued with Nielingxian. At this moment, Suyu was grateful to Han Yueyao. As a newcomer, she had no background, no power, and no fame. But she was fearless and immediately came to his rescue when she saw him in an awkward situation. Based on this, Suyu felt this girl had a good character. At least she wasn't as bad as he thought. Wow, you're so eloquent. It seems President Su has liked this type of woman all these years. You've liked Dr. Hu's type, right? Chapter 3673. Nielingxuan's words were getting more and more presumptuous. She had said that she was angry with Suyu, so it wasn't a big deal to mock him. But this time, in front of so many people, she didn't know the gravity of the situation. She even dragged Huamin, who was pregnant with his second child, into the water. This was a little too weird. Superstar Nia, are you saying that your love turned into hatred? Han Yueyao chuckled. Nielingxian didn't speak, she just stared at her face. I heard that you pursued your boss for a long time, but he rejected you many times. Later you felt embarrassed and fled to study abroad. President Su didn't chase you down because you've done a lot for the company in the past few years. Not only did he sponsor your tuition and living expenses, but he also told the media that Imperial Star's doors will always be open for you. I thought, if it were someone else, even if they weren't grateful to receive such treatment, they would still be kind to their boss. What you're doing now is cutting off your path. People say that you repay evil with good. Are you repaying kindness with kindness? Han Yueyao was usually rude, greedy, and liked to play tricks. Suyu had never thought that she would say such words one day. Huamin also looked at this little girl in a new light. Standing beside Qin Chu, she didn't intend to participate in this battle. Nielingxian had been picking on Suyu, trying to embarrass him and put him on the spot. As the boss and a man, Suyu naturally couldn't lower himself to the level of a woman. So he was at a disadvantage. But Han Yueyao didn't care about that. She was a newcomer and didn't know anyone. So she wasn't afraid of anything and went all out. First she attacked Zheng Rou. Now she attacked Nielingxian. She was extremely fierce. Lady Su already had a deep grudge against Han Yueyao's words. She felt that Han Yueyao used her and lied to her. But at this moment she was so protective of Suyu. Lady Su felt that she was right about Han Yueyao. This girl had a sense of justice in her bones. At least she was willing to sacrifice her own image to protect Suyu. Of course not, I was just joking with President Su. Why are you so agitated? President Su, we've known each other for so many years. Don't tell me you don't know me? Nie Lingxian smiled and looked at Suyu. Of course not. It's just a joke. I won't take it seriously. Hearing his words, Han Yueyao smiled. Superstar Nya, don't blame me. I've always had a strong point, and that's being protective. So I really didn't know you were joking, so please don't be mad at me for offending you. I really can't stand my boyfriend being bullied. Han Yueyao's change in attitude was astounding. Nie Lingxian was good at acting, but she was even better at it. Therefore, when she heard Nie Lingxian say it was a joke, she immediately blushed and acted like a spoiled child to Suyu. What a bunch of dog food. Exasperated, Zheng Ro slammed her coffee on the table. If it weren't for Han Yueyao, she would have torn Nie Lingxian apart. It was Han Yueyao's sudden appearance that disrupted her plan. She hated this woman more than she did at this moment. She didn't hate Huamin as much as she did before. Of course I don't mind. Congratulations on finding such a considerate girlfriend, President Su. Nie Lingxian picked up a glass of champagne and raised it. Thank you. Suyu didn't say much from beginning to end, but he knew Nie Lingxian had passed the first hurdle. After the disturbance, the onlookers dispersed. Huamin stood up and walked toward Nie Lingxian. Miss Nie, Huamin greeted her. Hello. Nie Lingxian smiled awkwardly. Not really. I touched her forehead and it didn't move. Then she's Nie Lingxian, right? Qin Chu asked. Huamin shook her head. Hard to say. Honey, I don't understand. You said she didn't have plastic surgery or disguise herself. Who else could she be? Qin Chu was a smart man, but he was confused. As long as you're willing to work with me to deal with Suyu's new girlfriend, who do you think you are? You want me to work with you? Nie Lingxian sneered. Chapter 3676. Zheng Ro was surprised that Nie Lingxian didn't appreciate her kindness in telling her the secret. You really don't know what's good for you. Nie Lingxian glared at Zheng Ro and didn't say another word. Rebuffed, Zheng Ro had no choice but to turn around and leave. She didn't want to be embarrassed here. On the other side, Suyu took Han Yueyao back to the place where he was playing cards with Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. Lord Su's new lover is very busy and energetic. Nie Lingxian must be dumbfounded by the explosion. Tang Chuan chuckled. Nie Lingxian's personality has changed drastically, Wei Liao said. Old Wei, you noticed it too? What do you mean I noticed it too? Even if I think with my toes, she wasn't like this before. Did she split after being stimulated by you? Damn it. How can there be so many split personalities? Do you think they're all Huasiqian? Suyu chuckled, although he found it strange. But he could understand why Nie Lingxian was angry with him. After all, she was a girl who had done so much for him but received no response. Suyu, you have to reward your little girlfriend. If she hadn't protected you just now, you would have been torn into pieces by Nie Lingxian. Tang Chuan reminded him with a smile. Suyu suddenly took out his wallet from his bag. Then he opened it and took out a stack of cash. There were about 5,000 yuan. Here, take this as a reward for your performance just now. Suyu thought Han Yueyao should be happy. After all, she loved money so much. But Han Yueyao was slightly surprised when she saw the money. She didn't expect Suyu to use money to send her away. At this moment, it was as if a bottle of mixed feelings had been knocked over in her heart. She couldn't describe them. She needed money and wanted to earn more money, but she wasn't a money-minded person who only cared about money. She wasn't someone who would do anything for money. Just now, he had stepped forward to help Suyu out of his predicament, and it was not for money. Therefore, when Suyu thanked her with bright cash, she was stunned. What's with that expression? You think it's too little? I didn't bring much today. Take it first and I'll give you more later. Biting her lips, she took the money slowly. Then he squeezed out an unnatural smile. Thank you for the tip, President Su. Then he turned around and ran. Hey, Lord Su, what are you doing? That's not very good, is it? Tang Chuan couldn't stand it anymore. Who would treat their girlfriend like this? It's okay. Han Yueyao loves money. She's probably laughing somewhere. She often extorts money from me. Look at her clothes and bags. They cost more than 200,000 yuan. I bought them all. Suyu didn't really know her, so he didn't know what she was really like. Therefore, in order to thank her for helping him out just now, he simply gave her money. Unexpectedly, the money hurt Han Yueyao's self-esteem. After showing off for a while, Nye Lingxian lied that she wasn't feeling well and asked the staff for a room to rest. After entering the room, she took out an instrument and checked that there were no bugs. Relieved, she turned around and sat on the sofa. Then she took out her phone and dialed a number. "Hello, boss. I've successfully boarded the ship. Yes, I saw target number 1, Huamin, but he seems to be suspicious of my identity." Nye Lingxian picked up her phone and reported in fluent American English. Chapter 3677. Qin Chu and Huamin didn't know that there were many people with unknown identities and motives on the ship. Obviously, most of them were here for Lu Yan. Suyu played cards for a while and then got off the ship to the entrance, and was still waiting at the railing at the entrance. It was windy at night and he was only wearing a black t-shirt which looked very thin. "Are you still going to wait?" President Su. And looked back and saw Suyu and he immediately perked up. "The show is about to start. Go in and watch the show. Whether Lu Yan comes or not has nothing to do with whether you wait here or not." Su thought and was a bit stupid. Lu Yan wouldn't come just because he was waiting here. On the other hand, if Lu Yan wanted to come, even God couldn't stop her. It didn't matter where An was. In other words, a small shrimp like An couldn't affect a queen like Lu Yan. And looked down at his watch. "You go in first. I'm going to wait." At this moment An's stomach rumbled and he lowered his head in embarrassment. "Why are you waiting? Come in and eat something with me." Suyu pulled in, or more accurately dragged him all the way to the cruise ship. He dragged An into the hall and pointed at the dazzling array of food. "Hurry up and eat. If you want to wait until you're full. I don't care about your nonsense." "Ha. Don't worry, boss. I'll eat now." Seeing that his boss was so concerned about him, and knew what was good for him. Thus he decided to eat something in the main hall. At this moment An bumped into Little Bean, who had come to look for food. Little Bean was famous for being a foodie. In Zhu Lingling's words, although Buyuan wasn't thin, he wasn't overweight either. Ever since Gao Buyuan started hanging out with Little Bean, his weight had skyrocketed. Little Bean loved sweets, junk food, chocolate, potato chips, Häagen-Dazs and so on. To sum it up, she loved everything that was high in calories. Therefore, on the cruise ship the 4 children were clearly separated. Wei Yunchu and Pudding played games for a while, chatted for a while, drank juice for a while and then went to the plywood to get some fresh air. It was very romantic. On the other hand, Little Bean and Gao Buyuan's style was like this. "Buyuan. Have you ever eaten strawberry cheese? No, is it delicious? Try it, alright. Buyuan. Which do you think is better, banana chips or potato chips? I haven't eaten it before. My mom won't buy it for me. Come, I have everything here. Give me a good review after you eat." "All right." At this moment Little Bean was bored and came to the hall to order some fruit salad. She didn't expect to run into an uncle and "Good girl, Little Bean. You seem to have gained weight recently." "Uncle, and if you keep talking like this, you won't have any friends. No wonder your girlfriend ran away," and was speechless. "Come on, let's hurt each other." Little Bean held the sofa proudly. She had been born for more than 3 years, but she had never been convinced by anyone before. Of course, except for her sister. "Okay, I won't tease you anymore. Come here, Uncle An has something to ask you." "Go ahead." Little Bean walked over slowly to An's side. Because of their good relationship with Suyu, the 2 children were very familiar with An. "Little Bean, I actually want to ask you," and deliberately lowered his voice. "You want to ask if my auntie will come today?" Little Bean finished his sentence for him. Chapter 3678. Ahem. How did you know? Come on. The whole world knows that you like my auntie, okay? And, Little Bean, is your auntie coming today? And asked in a low voice. Although he was talking to a kid, he still felt embarrassed. "Come closer and I'll tell you." Little Bean beckoned at him and said mysteriously. Excited, and moved closer and put his ear close to Little Bean's mouth. "I heard that even my mommy doesn't know if my auntie is coming today. And, isn't that obvious? It's as good as not saying anything. And didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Who would have thought that he would be fooled by a child despite his reputation? Don't be silly. Uncle An, you're the cutest when you're silly. And, okay. I won't tease you anymore. I'm going to eat salad with Boyne. Go. Really? You shouldn't have asked. And stood up dejectedly. Forget it. Since you're so impatient, I'll tell you. According to my analysis, my auntie will come tonight. Why? And looked at Little Bean in puzzlement. It's because my aunt and my mommy are very close. Every time my aunt comes to my house, she chases my daddy to sleep in the study and snatches my mommy's bed. Tell me, with such deep sisterly love, how can she not come to celebrate mommy's birthday? She only comes once a year. Really? And chuckled. Absolutely. Huh. Hearing what you said, it's very likely that she'll come. Anne's mood improved a lot and he seemed to have a lot more hope. But Uncle Anne, don't be happy too early. Why? Hearing the hidden meaning in Little Bean's words, Anne's heart sank again. If my auntie comes this time, I guess she won't come alone. He has a boyfriend. Do you know that? I heard. That uncle is super handsome and super cool, with a head full of silver hair, just like the main character in anime. You definitely can't compete in looks, nor can you compete in wealth. He's a century-old aristocrat. If you compete in martial arts, you'll have to see. After all, I've never seen Uncle Chow fight. You're stabbing me in the heart again. Anne's smile was uglier than his crying face. No, I'm asking you to accept the cruel reality. So don't be happy that my aunt is here. She's bringing people here and you'll definitely be tortured. Alright, little ancestor. You're making me want to jump into the Yellow River. If you say that, I'll continue to scold you. Little Bean put the fruit platter aside and put her hands on her hips. And was speechless. You've been with Handsome Sue for so long. Haven't you learned from him that he won't give up? Look at him. He's been in love with my mom for so many years. Even when she's pregnant, he's never given up. But you've only been in love with my auntie for so long. What else can I do? If I have to fight him fairly? Little Anne was amused. A fair duel is unlikely, but if you can beat my aunt, I think you still have a chance. Forget it, I'll just jump into the Yellow River. She wanted him to hit Lu Yan? Was she kidding? Wasn't that just asking for a beating? He heard that Lu Yan's close combat skills were among the top 10 in the world. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so domineering in the mercenary world. After being tortured by Little Bean, and was no longer in the mood to continue eating. He went to Su Yu's private room to continue watching them play cards. Huamin was a bit tired and wanted to go back to his room to rest for a few minutes and change his clothes. But to her surprise, as soon as she entered the private lounge, she saw that thing, and her face turned pale with fright. Chapter 3679. Huamin saw. There was a wedding gown hanging in the room. It was the one she had asked Qinjie to throw away during the day. It was the blood-stained wedding gown that Huasiqian had personally designed and sent to her. Why is it here? Huamin wasn't a timid person. She wasn't afraid of the wedding gown, but Huasiqian's split personality. This damn thing was following her like a shadow. What did that prove? Either someone was behind it in Huasiqian's name, or Huasiqian was back. Because he was back. Huamin picked up her phone in a panic and called Qinjie. Jie, come quickly. I'm in the innermost private room on the 3rd floor. Less than a minute after she hung up, Qinjie ran up, panting. Sister Mion, what's wrong? What happened? Why are you so flustered? Qinjie had been Huamin's assistant for a long time and knew her well. She was a calm person and would never be so agitated. But just now on the phone, her voice was clearly uneasy. Little Jie, look. Huamin pointed at the white wedding gown hanging in the room. It was a blood-stained white wedding gown. Qinjie was scared out of her wits. She quickly covered her mouth to stop herself from screaming. Sister Mion, how did this happen? Who let it in? Jie, think carefully. I asked you to throw the wedding gown away. Where did you throw it? I threw it in the trash can in our hospital. Did someone follow you when you went there? No. I deliberately chose a remote place and threw it in a deserted place. That trash can is taken away every afternoon to be disposed of. How could it be? Sister Mion, do you think it's the same gown? I'm not sure. It's hard to say. But what I'm sure of now is that someone came into this room. That person did everything for me to see. Sister Mion, wouldn't you be in danger? Why don't you go back first? Qinjie was scared as well. Huamin had been pregnant for so many months, and there weren't many days left before she was due to give birth. If anything were to happen on the ship, the consequences would be unimaginable. It's okay. Don't tell anyone about this and don't tell my husband either. But I think it's safer for you to know. No, I don't want him to follow me and live in fear. At this point, I don't care if he's a human or a ghost. I don't care why he's trying to be mysterious. I'm going to find out. Then Huamin and Qinjie removed the blood-stained wedding dress. Then Huamin put her in a black plastic bag and watched as the bag was thrown into the sea. This time this damn thing wouldn't come back, right? What Huamin didn't know was that while she was doing all this, there was a pair of eyes staring at her in the dark. After throwing away the wedding dress, Huamian went to the surveillance room. In order to ensure the safety of the ship, Qin Chu had already ordered people to install surveillance cameras in every corner of the ship. A young lady. Seeing Huamin, the security guard in the surveillance room stood up immediately. Show me all the surveillance cameras on the 3rd floor. Every single one of them. Yes, a young lady. Then Huamin stood behind the security guard and watched him skillfully check the surveillance cameras. He had been watching them since the morning. The staff came and went, but there was nothing suspicious. Until just now there was nothing suspicious. How is that possible? A young lady, did you lose something? Seeing Huamin's pale face, the security guard asked anxiously. No strangers went to the 3rd floor? Huamin asked again. No, a young lady. You saw it yourself. Only 2 maids cleaned the room. No one else entered your room. Hearing this, Huamin panicked even more. Then, how did the wedding dress get in there? Chapter 3680. A young lady, what did you lose? We'll help you find it. The security guard tried his best to please the hostess. No, I didn't lose anything. Thank you. Seeing that the surveillance cameras didn't find anything, Huamin didn't want to waste any more time. He turned around and left the surveillance room. Gao Ran arrived a little late. He had planned to come earlier with Zhu Lingling and Gao Buyan. However, there was a sudden murder in the city, so he had to go take a look. When he arrived, the entrance was almost sealed. Chu, you're here? Is the case okay? It's fine. It's just a group of hooligans fighting. One of them died. The victim and the suspect are both very poor. One is dead and the other turned himself in and is willing to go to jail. It's much simpler. That's good. Chu, why do you look so worried? What happened? Did I? Of course. Gao Ran was Qin Chu's best friend. They had known each other since they were young. Therefore, other than Huamin, only Gao Ran understood Qin Chu's subtle expressions. Gao Ran, how many men do you have? You mean the police force? Not counting the night patrols, there are about 45. Can you transfer them over? Transfer them over. As an entrepreneur, I'll apply for protection from the police. Ask all your men to come over. What's going on? Is someone attacking your ship? Gao Ran joked. I have a feeling that tonight won't be peaceful. Qin Chu couldn't describe the feeling. Perhaps it was because it was too quiet. It was so quiet that it was a little strange. Up until now, nothing had happened. This shouldn't be. Because Huamin's identity had been exposed. They celebrated their birthday in such a grand manner on a cruise ship. Those people wouldn't be indifferent. Be it Ian Huasiqian who escaped, or the mysterious masked men who came later. Their motives were clear. But until now the ship was eerily quiet. This made Qin Chu very uneasy. Of course, Huamin didn't tell Qin Chu about the wedding dress. If he did, he would be more careful. Your men are all here? Gao Ran glanced at Qin Chu's men who often worked for him come. Huamin's bodyguards and South Hill Manor's bodyguards come out. It was like they were going to war. They're all here. Could it be that someone is here to cause trouble? It's hard to say, Qin Chu said simply. Then I'll call them now. Seeing Qin Chu's serious expression, Gao Ran knew he wasn't joking. Now that Huamian was pregnant, it was normal for Qin Chu to be nervous. Therefore, without hesitation, Gao Ran called his superior for instructions. He said that there was a large-scale party here and to maintain order he needed to send people over. Of course, the higher-ups agreed because Gao Ran was the one who did all the dirty work. When he got the credit, the higher-ups had to take responsibility for it. So, Gao Ran's application was easily approved. 8 p.m. The large-scale show officially began. Tang Chuan and Qin Ning prepared it personally. It was as luxurious as the New Year's gala. There were crosstalks, skits, acrobatics, singers and dance performances. It was very exciting. After the show started, everyone gathered in the hall one after another. Huamin was still looking around uneasily. What's wrong? Qin Chu put his arm around her shoulder. Honey, Nye Lingxian is missing. When Han Yueyao was rude, she was quite violent. For people like you, I'll say whatever I want. Damn it. What's wrong with you? Weren't you protecting me a moment ago? My brain was damaged just now. Now I'm normal. Suyu, okay, I won't talk to you anymore. We can't have a pleasant conversation anymore. Seeing Han Yueyao's attitude, Suyu didn't dare to say more and continued watching the show while eating sunflower seeds. At this moment, a tall masked clown appeared on the stage and began to perform magic. The atmosphere was lively. He even made a rose in front of everyone and handed it to Huamian, who was still in a daze. But for some reason Huamin felt this person was very familiar and strange. Ningning, where did you find these performers? Huamin lowered his head and asked Qin Ning, who was sitting beside him. Chapter 3682. They were all contacted by Tang Chuan's friends. Some of the more famous ones used Lord Su's name. Qin Ning didn't realize anything and didn't know why her sister-in-law was so worried. Oh, I see. Huamin was still absent-minded. Sister-in-law, what's wrong? Is something wrong? Qin Ning looked at her sister-in-law's subtle expression and guessed. Nothing, I'm just asking. In fact, Huamin didn't want more people to know about the things that made her feel uneasy. So she sat in the first row and continued to watch the show. The clown on the stage seemed to be very popular. Everyone applauded and he played a variety of tricks. But Huamian had a feeling that the clown was staring at her the whole time. She even had the urge to jump on the stage and take off the clown's mask. She wanted to see what kind of face was under the mask. On an island in Southeast Asia, Ian was lying on the balcony of a seaside villa, drinking colorful juice. Yes, juice. In front of him was a tablet. The screen showed everything that was happening on Huamin's birthday cruise. Look, it's so lively on the cruise, Ian said in German. No one dared to talk to him. They seemed to be used to their boss talking to himself. Huamin, this little girl. I'm really curious. She seems to have found something. Ian zoomed in on Huamin's camera and saw that she was looking at the clown with a strange expression. Master, is the clown? It's him. I'd recognize him even if he turned into ashes. But I'm curious. How did he get in? Why didn't I see him on the surveillance cameras? Maybe it's the power behind him. It seems to be a very mysterious organization. Otherwise, he wouldn't have looked down on you and Master Nalo. Hehe, I hope he can take off his mask later so that I can show it to my good brother. Let him see that the old lover he has been looking for so long is back. But he went to put on the mask to see his little lover. These things have nothing to do with him. Don't think too much. We'll follow them closely. If Lu Yen appears, if that girl appears, do you believe that all the electronic equipment on the ship will malfunction? Because she has that kind of ability. Ian smiled. Having fought with Lu Yen so many times, she knew her tricks very well. It doesn't matter. Our men have already surrounded the ship. Even if there are no electronic devices, we can still sink the cruise ship in 3 minutes. Idiot, why did you sink it? I always wanted to capture it alive, Ian scolded. Sir, we will do our best to capture them all alive. Let's hope that's the case. This night is so beautiful. Let's continue to party then. Haha, Ian smiled creepily. He picked up the juice and continued to drink. He seemed to have everything under his control. Of course, he only wanted the things that were valuable to him. Whether it was Huamin or Lu Yen, they were the best hostages for him. As for the traitor Huasiqian, he wanted to talk to him. Things were getting more and more interesting. At this moment, Qin Chu and his men were searching every corner of the cruise ship for the missing Nye Lingxian. He and Huamin both believed that Nye Lingxian's disappearance wasn't an accident but a conspiracy. Chapter 3683. The clown's performance quickly ended. Huamin wasn't sure if he was hallucinating. Before the clown left the stage, he gave Huamin a strange smile. That's right, it was a strange smile. That smile had a deeper meaning. Huamin felt a chill run down his spine, Sister-in-law, are you okay? You look terrible. I'm fine. I'm a little cold. I'll go get a jacket. With that, Huamin stood up and left. After the clown left the stage, the next performance was a famous talk show actor. This show had been very popular recently, so many people were looking forward to it. Not many people paid attention to Huamin's departure. Everyone was attracted by the show. Even Suyu didn't notice where Huamin went. Suyu was also a fan of this talk show star, so he watched the show attentively. Hey, do you like him? Suyu took the initiative to chat with Han Yueyao. Oh, damn. Don't you think his performance is funny? Suyu was puzzled. I can only say that you're not easily amused. Han Yueyao glanced at Suyu faintly. Suyu, forget it, pretend I didn't talk to you. People like you don't know how to do anything else, but you're good at being a party pooper. Who asked you to ask me? Han Yueyao rolled her eyes at Suyu. She was still upset about the money Suyu had given her just now. But obviously men and women would always think differently. Suyu had already forgotten about it, but Han Yueyao was still upset and conflicted. No wonder relationship experts said that most men didn't know why their girlfriends were angry. The rest of them couldn't even tell that their girlfriends were angry. How slow were they? Although she was angry, Han Yueyao still sat beside Suyu and didn't leave. She opened her bag and took out a bag of dates. This was one of her favorite snacks. Whether she was in a bad mood or a good mood, she would eat it because it was sweet. To her surprise, the moment she opened the bag, Suyu shamelessly reached out his hand, grabbed a date and put it in his mouth. Then his eyes were fixed on the stage from the beginning to the end. Han Yueyao was about to lose her temper when she saw Suyu laughing with everyone else. This was because the talk show actors on stage were beginning to show off their burdens. The laughs were extremely concentrated. She didn't know what to do when she saw Suyu's silly smile at such a close distance. In the end, she didn't say anything. At this moment, Han Yueyao's was speechless. Eat, why aren't you eating? Han Yueyao's face darkened. Damn it. You've eaten all the food. Yours after Sue's tea. Right, she. President Su, I have to hand it to you for being such a shameless boss. If eating a few of your candied dates is shameless enough, then do you believe that I can do something even more shameless? Then Suyu leaned close to Han Yueyao's face. She was so scared that her face turned red. What are you doing? Don't do anything rash. Han Yueyao felt her heart race. This was the first time she had seen such a weird boss. Suddenly, Suyu raised his sticky hand and wiped it on Han Yueyao's face. The sticky feeling immediately hit her in the face. You. Han Yueyao felt like she was drunk, completely drunk. However, she knew that she had misunderstood what Suyu meant by something even more shameless. It seemed like she had misunderstood. Backstage at the actor's makeup removal area. At this moment, the clown was sitting in front of the mirror. He slowly raised his hand and was about to take off his mask. Huamin pushed the door open and walked in suddenly. Their eyes met and the air froze for a few seconds. Huamin only managed to say one word before he froze. She didn't know if her guess was right. It was very rhythmic, but in this specific enclosed space, it was extremely strange. Don't lie to me. I've known him for so many years and I can still tell. Huasiqian doesn't have the kind of eyes you have. What kind of eyes do I have? Huasiqian, or rather Jack, laughed hoarsely and asked Huamin. I told you, although he's bad, he still has a trace of humanity. But he have none at all. Huamin looked at him calmly. Jack's eyes were filled with danger and wildness. It was the most primitive and cruel look in an animal's eyes. Huamin was right. You said Lu Yan is on this boat? Do you think she won't come on my birthday? Don't lie to me. We've received confirmation that Lu Yan didn't enter the country. Who is Yan? If you can find out that she entered the country, then she's not the omnipotent Lu Yan. Huamin's hearty laughter made Jack wary. His face darkened as he tried to figure out the truth of Huamin's words. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.